Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be an interesting video. It's actually going to be a video on psychedelics, LSD in particular, and how you can use it to conquer your fears. Because legit, it works. It's worked for me, although I'm not necessarily the best person, to take my anecdotal report from. Because to be completely honest with you, I'm not afraid of fucking anything. You could ask my wife, you could ask my friends, people that know me, like, I'm the first one in, you know what I mean? No fear. That's just, for better, for worse, sometimes it serves me well, sometimes it doesn't serve me well, but that's just who I am, no fear. It is what it is. But regardless of that, I think, actually, you know what? Part of the reason why I am the way that I am in that regard, and just being, like, overall fearless, has a lot to do with the psychedelics I used to take when I was younger. Still occasionally here and there I will dabble, with mushrooms, sometimes LSD if it's really good, and pure, and from a good source. But, especially when I was younger, I was a wild one. I may have posted a video about my addiction. I'm not sure if I actually posted yet or not, but either way, I've lived a crazy life, let's put it that way. But during that crazy life, I experimented with quite a bit of psychedelic drugs, like literally every single one. I don't think there's anyone that I have not done. I'm trying to think now. Peyote. Peyote is the only thing that I have yet to actually take. I have taken mescaline, which is essentially like the, derived pure version of peyote. So in a way, I guess you could say I've taken it, but I have yet to eat the actual cactus. Plan on doing so at a certain point. I actually am very close with someone who runs ceremonies. So, that's a whole nother story. If you guys are interested in that, throw it in the comments and I'll tell you about that another time. But anyway, the main psychedelics I used when I was younger, I took mushrooms for the first time when I was 15 years old. I actually got sent away to a boarding school. I used to get in a lot of trouble. So, I found myself at a boarding school. And it was our genius idea. We ended up, buying mushrooms at the train stop, on the way back, because we lived, off campus. And we met a local kid, and he happened to have mushrooms. So we bought a quarter, me and my friend, because he told us that we each needed an eighth. And, we were kids, so we just listened. We didn't know any better, you know what I mean? I now know, an eighth for, a child is, quite a significant dose, especially if you've never taken it before, right? But, anyway, we took them, long story short, we had an absolutely wild experience, definitely terrifying, one of the scarier times, in my life up until that point. I was still very young, so not a whole lot had happened, but that was definitely one of the more intense experiences, I'd gone through up until that point. Not all bad, but it was definitely crazy. So our dorm parent, he's the guy who lived in the building with all the kids. He had a family, wife, and a young daughter who was actually disabled in some way, whatever. So he would get pissed when we'd wake her up, because she would just cry all night and he couldn't sleep and he'd get pissed. And so my roommate who took the mushrooms with me, he would start tripping balls, man, and he just jumped off his bunk bed on top and just slammed onto the ground. And I thought for sure that the dorm parent was going to come up and check on us, and literally, my vision spiraled down. It was dun dun dun, I heard it, I just started freaking out, man. It was a crazy experience, crazy time. Up until that point, I had never felt fear like that before, ever, but I dealt with it, and I made it through the night. I didn't cry, I didn't go get an adult or nothing like that. I knew that it was going to be fine, and I got through. And, that was the first time that I really overcame something, really powerful in my mind. And I really think it kind of led the way for, other things later in life in terms of mental strength, right? But that was the first time I conquered my mind. And I was 16, totally unprepared, but did it. So the next time I took psychedelics after that was probably, to be honest with you, at least a year later. Maybe even a year and a half at that point. at this point, I think I had finished that boarding school. So now I was living at home and I was waiting to go into college. That's what it was. So I was like home for the summer and then I was going off to college. And at this point, one of my homies, you know, basically was very well connected, and we had like all the LSD, mushrooms, Molly, everything, anything you could possibly want. You know, we had plenty of it. So this is the summer, you know, I really got into it, okay? You know, I'm not even gonna lie, man, my friends called me the Mad Hatter for like a few years of my life, like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years of my life. My friends used to call me the Mad Hatter because I always used to rock around with like sheets of acid, you know, just tripping balls like all the time. That's just who I was, you know? So they call me the Mad Hatter. That's who I was, man. But, you know, I'm lucky I came out of it, you know, okay, okay. But, anyway, lots of experience with psychedelics is what I'm trying to say. You know, every time you are faced with an uncomfortable situation when you're on a psychedelic drug, you're forced to like learn coping skills, and those coping skills like follow you into the rest of your life. They don't just like disappear when you're done tripping. You know, like if you can convince yourself that you're gonna be okay when you're having like a total mental breakdown, and you can like stay calm under like the most intense circumstances, you know, next time something stressful at work happens, it's gonna feel like a piece of cake. It's gonna be like, this is nothing, right? Because what you're doing really with psychedelics is you're putting yourself under mental stress, but like on purpose to make us stronger. In a similar way, physical exercise, right? We stress our bodies on purpose in order to make them stronger. In a way, psychedelics is like doing that for your mind. That's at least my take on it, and has been my experience. You know, I've had just a lot of really crazy trips that, you know, I could say, you know, were scarring, I guess, because some, you know, definitely a lot of dramatic shit has happened to me, you know, during trips with psychedelics, things like this. But overall, definitely experience is positive. And like I said, it builds mental fortitude. And here on this channel, if you know, I'm all about mental fortitude, being the best version of you and being a strong motherfucker, right? We need that can-do attitude. And honestly, I think taking psychedelics, you know, now and again, you know, will help you do that. Will help you stay a positive person and continue moving forward, you know, with positive intentions. Because it also does make you kind of question your intentions and who you are, and, you know, reevaluate, like, are you actually a good person? That's another thing. Psychedelics generally make people want to be, you know, good people, right? You don't take a bunch of acid and so you're like, oh, I want to go hurt somebody or rob somebody. It's like, no, we're all together. We're all humans. You know, we're in this one together, you know. And, hey, ain't that the truth? So, if you made it this far, hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I hope maybe, you know, you learned something from this or whatever it may be. If you got ideas for me for future videos, leave it in the comments. You know, otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.